Hello everybody, welcome back to Trevor's Baseball Cards. That's right, we're talking about the kid, Ken Griffey Jr. I've collected Ken Griffey Jr. since I was a kid myself. And I started my baseball card business in 1987. And in 1987, Ken Griffey Jr. was the #1 draft pick. And in 1988, we were lucky enough here in SoCal to get Ken Griffey Jr. to the San Bernardino Spirit. Yep, that's right. This is a 1988 San Bernardino Spirit Ken Griffey Jr. minor league card. Believe it or not, this card's relatively inexpensive to get your hands on. This card really cost me about 10 or 15 bucks online to get it if you wanted to. There's multiple different versions of it. We'll go through a few of those. But for those who didn't know, Ken Griffey Jr. was signed, and at 18 years old, when he showed up at the San Bernardino Spirit, they moved him right to the Mariners because of his stats. In 58 games, Ken Griffey Jr. threw down 11 home runs, 42 RBIs, and 32 stolen bases in 41 attempts. So as you can see, they just sent him right on to the majors. And for those who don't know, he's got a baseball pedigree. That's right, his dad, Ken Griffey Sr., played for the Big Red Machine. So he grew up playing with a lot of the baseball legends of yesterday and taught him the game that will turn him into a Hall of Famer. So more on Ken Griffey Jr. He was the first Major League #1 draft pick to go into the Hall of Fame. The Major League Draft was instated in 1965. So in 1987, 22 years later, Ken Griffey Jr. was drafted by the Mariners. And then in 2016, he was assigned to the Baseball Hall of Fame. And for those who don't know, he was assigned 99.3%. Only 4 writers out of 440 left him off the ballot that year. So again, as we all know, Ken Griffey Jr., one of the greats of all time. And if you collect cards, as you can see what we're about to go through, he's in all of them. That's a great thing about collecting Griffey. Even cards of today, they keep making more cards of him. So a couple of my favorites we'll start off with. I just added to my collection because I was never able to get it as a kid. Probably because of time or, quite frankly, cost of product. In 1994, Upper Deck SP came out with their HoloView set. And this is the blue version of it. Relatively easy to get. But what I just picked up is the red HoloView. And for those who don't know, this is a much rarer insert version of the blue version. I just picked this up, even if it's in a PSA 6. You can see probably why. It's got a little nick there in the corner. But a great card because of the cost. I got this for under $100. So really excited about adding this one to the collection. A couple great Griffies. They're iconic. One of my other favorites was the Hot Glove. I love the 1994 Flair Hot Glove of Griffey. This whole set was awesome. Really cool die cut version. But another great Griffey card. And I also started collecting his autographed cards. I've never had a Griffey autograph after all these years because I didn't want to collect anything unless I got it in person with autos. So it's really hard to collect these until you get companies like Upper Deck or, quite frankly, all the product today that have them certified by the company. And that's what these are. These are buybacks. So I bought both of these for under $100. Again, great value, Griffey autos. Really excited to add these to the collection. And as we grab this group here, I'm going to show you a few more that I've been picking up and, quite frankly, just pick up on the regular because they're just great to have more of Griffey and Griffey rookies. So I always have loved his rated rookie card, not only for it being a Griffey rookie, but just the color of it. The purple just looks, it's just a really cool looking card. And if you have not seen this card with his autograph on it, it's a really cool look. That's probably the next card that I'm looking for to get for Griffey for autoed. But again, all these cards that you see here, I typically pick up for under 20 bucks. This leaf looks mint to me, perfectly centered. I got for $10. So again, I like refractors. I like a lot of the inserts that were a little tougher to chase. And you really can pick a lot of this stuff up for great value today. Again, like I mentioned, most of these that you see here were picked up for under $20 or $10 a piece. And as I mentioned before, Griffey is in absolutely every set. And as you can see from these, very pretty as well. So a lot of refractors is what I like to pick as well, but I also like to try to grab a lot of the Cincinnati and White Sox cards because those are the ones that I never had. I was collecting Griffey with Seattle. That was my guy before he got traded. So picking up a few more of those. Always love the Pacific cards. Very pretty. And then like I mentioned before, the modern cards of today are still putting out Griffey tribute cards. This is Allen and Ginter. Love the throwback look of this, how the old style of it. Really cool. So as we get down a little further, I'd like to show you guys my binder. So that's right, this is mine from 1996. And what I'm going to show you is in 1996, I was on the daunting task of getting every Griffey ever made. So this was a little print up from the internet in 1996 from Beckett, and it listed everyone. That's right, back in 1996, it actually was kind of attainable to get every card of a player because there wasn't as many inserts. Now in today's parallel world and all the brands that are out there, it would be impossible to have every card just because of one-of-ones and so on. But again, that was my attempt, so I'm going to continue that attempt. I'm going to continue to try to fill in the gaps and finish off my Griffey collection. But as we go through the binder a little bit, a few of my favorites in here, again, I like to separate everything by brand and then by date. So off the beginning, I've got a few of his minor league cards. Here's a different all-star variant of his minor league card from San Bernardino. And then we're going to move right into Bowman. I'm a little OCD with my binders, so yes, everything is alphabetical. So I have some holes in here because I'm still looking for things that I'm going to be filling in, so I like to leave space. Got a nice spot for another one of those. I know where that's going to go. So these were all cards that I had acquired as a kid up until 1996. And again, as we go through these, you can see a lot of the bigger size cards, the box toppers, those were always really cool to get. Some Fleer rookies. So we're on to the Fleer now. I necessarily didn't have all the Griffies, but whenever I found one, I always try to put it in my binder and have that for keeps. Even if I had multiples of it, I would always keep them because you can see a few holes in here. I would always keep them for trade because I always like to trade and everybody loved Griffies. So as we go through this binder a little bit further, as we're getting into the Leaf, oh man, the die cut from the Pacific brands were some of my favorite. I loved these products. Pinnacle. And again, this is why I like binders. I like binders because you can do this. You can just open them up, fill them in, but you do have to be careful of the corners. You do have to be careful of the cards bending at the edges. So there is a little more maintenance needed when you have binders. And make sure when you have a binder, you set it down flat. Try not to set it upright because the card corners will tilt down on it. So just a little note for storage, some post serials, some early ones. Like I said, I was very, I like to collect everything. That was a little bit of my problem. That's why we're trying to pare some of this down as we go through our collection. But Griffey is definitely staying with us. And as you can see from this page, I opened a lot of Select in 1995. This was arguably one of the last big sets that I really chased as a dealer before I moved away from cards in 96. And the biggest card I ever pulled out of this was an artist proof Frank Thomas. And when I pulled it, it was a spectacle. The whole card show was excited. Boy, back in the day when artist proofs meant a big deal, right? So as you can see, a lot of duplication inside of this, but I never really cared. Love some Sport Flicks. If you haven't seen Sport Flicks, they're very cool. Transition cards. Stadium Club, like we talked about in my other video, one of my favorites. I love the photography in Stadium Club, and it has always been spectacular. They used to have member choice versions as well too, so Stadium Club was probably one of the first sets to really do extra inserts, as you could see from the Master photo series that they did as well. And then we jump into Studio when Studio came out. Not really one of my favorite issues. And then Topps. Still missing a few of the key Topps cards. His 89 traded. But again, all very easy to find. Griffey's not that hard until you get into stuff like his Upper Decks or you get into some of his parallel cards. Every one of those Upper Decks I pulled out of a pack. 89 Upper Deck, man, you cannot find those things. We used to go to Thrifty. We used to go to every store that we could do to try to find packs because everybody wanted that card. So again, guys, this is the end of my collection for Griffey as I go through these. But just like every video, we will be giving something away. So make sure, again, you guys are subscribing, liking, commenting, and leave it below. In 30 days, we're going to randomize all of that and give away one of my favorite new issue Griffey card to come out. Look at the jump, and I love that it just says energy there because that's what he was full of. This is a 2020 Topps Stadium base. Nothing special, but for me, what makes this special is that photo and with the energy there. It's such a great card. So guys, thank you again for all the support. Thank you for the comments. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.